games, we knew that part of that struggles was their inability to knock down some open shots, and that if they came in with their post presence, with their ability to drive the ball, and on the nights where they shoot it well from the outside, they're going to be as good as anybody in the conference. And unfortunately, they started off that game that way with the outside shots, and our guys didn't respond as well as I would have liked in the second half with the physical nature of the play. But it's going to be a learning experience for us. So we're looking forward to the next couple of days before we have to hit the road and go against another tough test in the MAC.
The team had 17 turnovers. What was the cause for that? Was that execution or mental mistakes?
Part execution and part being able to be tough. When a game is, they're going to allow to push and shove, and you got to be able to be strong with the ball. That's just the way it was going to be called. It's not the way we're built as a team right now to be able to handle that, but we have to get better at it. We have to understand there's going to be nights where that's just the way that the officials are going to call it. It hasn't happened very often this year with the new rules, so we haven't had to really practice against it. We didn't adapt as well, but you understand when a team gets more and more experience, the excuse that they're not adapting well doesn't hold as true. But I think I have to understand that it is a learning experience for us, a learning process, and that we got to get better from this game. We can't be disappointed to the point where we don't come back to practice and work on those deficiencies and see how much we can improve in a couple days.
You feel like the team maybe got a little frustrated when some of those calls went against them a little bit more than maybe they should have?
I know I got frustrated. I mean, it's something I hadn't seen all year. Maybe a little bit down at Jacksonville State, but where that was last year. It hasn't been called that way this year. And so you teach a certain way and you practice a certain way, and then it's going back to last year. And we got to be able to make those tough plays. We got to be able to, in a game that's allowed to be physical or overly physical, we got to be that tough team. We got to be tougher. We're not the toughest team right now. We're going to come back to practice and see how much we can improve in that area.
Do you think that those calls had an effect on the outcome of the game?
Calls always have an effect on the outcome of a game. Ask any coach, for sure. Yeah, it's a matter of what team can adapt to it. So it's not the blame isn't the officials, but we will struggle in a game where they allow a lot of hand checking and a lot of physical play. We're going to struggle this year, and we've got to be able to learn how to become more of a physical team, and they're going to allow you to play defense like that. So, but I give them credit. I give Miami credit. They took it to us, and not only that with their physical play, but they also knocked down the shots, which I think was really a big key.
Obviously, you guys just stomped on Marygrove. Was there any hangover or anything like that with a game like this? Because a lot of those early shots, were pretty strong, and that's why they were missing.
I don't think so. There was enough time in between games, and I don't think our guys got overconfident because we beat a rebuilding Marygrove team. We know we played enough tough competition. The game against Dayton is as good as just about anybody. Especially at their place. That's we saw the top level. So we need to make sure that we take our practices and come back to the court and say, okay, what areas can we improve in 2 days? And part of it is we're banged up. We don't have the personnel that we would like for practice and for the games, but that's every team around the country. And we're looking forward to having another game. That's a good thing about conference. You can't sit around and worry about it. You got to get ready for the next game.
How much do you think about your team's body language when playing from behind?
Well, I love the fact that there just doesn't seem to be any give up in them. I mean, it looked like that game was over. And all of a sudden, it's a three-point game, and we've got that ball tipped at half court, and it just happens to go their way, and then an intentional foul. But if we get that steal, all those numbers that you look at, getting beat for field goal percentage and all those things, because we came up with enough, we could have won that game. We're that close that if we can just improve in some of those areas, we're going to be a much better ball club when we get another couple weeks of practice in.
Were you pleased almost with the 29 three-point attempts? Because a lot of them seemed to be open looks, and there were shots that looked like they should be taken.
Good question. I don't know. I will have to go back. Early in the season, we were taking 29, 30 shots, and they were poor looks. And we had cut it down to more of the 20 range. And all of a sudden, when you get 29 shots, it's kind of glaring out there. So you have to go back and look and say, were those good shots? And if they were, great, we'll shoot 29 threes. Because that's kind of what we're built to do. Now we've got to be able to chase down those rebounds. If we come back to the tape and look at some of them weren't, maybe 4 or 5 of them weren't good looks. If we could cut those out, that's 4 or 5 more possessions that you have. So it's tough to be able to say without going back and looking at the tape.
After going 0-1, are you almost more pleased with the 18-game schedule as opposed to 16 games? It gives you a little bit more time to kind of right the ship a little bit after losses.
You can probably look at it either way, I know that you haven't been in the conference and being a fan of the conference and watched it, it's an underrated conference. Not only you could talk about the top teams that have made great runs for it being a one-bid league of recent years, but I think less talked about is those teams that are in the bottom half that are trying to get up there. They can beat some teams. There are a lot of teams won't come into MAC teams to play on the road because you know what you're going to get, especially as students come back and you get a great atmosphere in some of these places. So I know our guys are looking forward to the conference season. It's disappointing to start 0-1, but we know that there's going to be some nights where it's not going to come together for us. It's about getting better as a team. So that we're playing the best at the end of the season, and whatever seed we can get going into the conference tournament will really determine what kind of chances we have, come March.
Well, you guys obviously are playing the best that the conference has to offer this weekend in Toledo. Do you think you guys are ready for that game?
No.
Okay.
I think we can win. We can beat Toledo. We can beat Akron. We can beat the best teams in this league. Where we are with the program, though, we can also lose to everybody. So it's 18 games of you can't chalk up the win. I don't care where we go. We're a team that when we're knocking down shots, that we can be tough to beat. We have to make sure on the defensive end that we do a little better job of allowing teams early and open shots, whether it's at the basket or from the three-point line. But our team is working so hard that it'd shock me if they don't continue to improve at the rate they are.
Western beat Toledo by 13 tonight. Will you try to watch that film, try to get maybe whatever you can from what Western did?
Yeah, we'll watch pretty much every game. Our assistants do an incredible job of being prepared, and so while one assistant was working on Miami, we had another one working on everybody. So we'll be ready to go tonight. If we could be allowed to practice, we probably would coming back. So I think we'll try to do some things that have bothered them, but with 2-day turnaround, a lot of it is going to be the execution of what we do and try to change just small variables to give ourselves a good opportunity.
Thank you.